Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode one of the Random Album Review. For those of you who don't know who already, I'm Larry,
And I'm Brian.
and the way this is going to work is each week Brian and I are going to choose an album that one of us has listened to prior and the other hasn't, and we're going to basically pick it apart. You're going to get both sides of a avid listener of one of these bands or one of these groups or maybe even a solo artist. And you're also going to get a new listener. You're going to get a new perspective on the music, and hopefully, we'll be able to develop a good discussion about it. This week, uh, I got to choose the albums the first week, and today we are reviewing the eighth studio album from Fall Out Boy, So Much for Stardust. And for me personally, this album has played a pretty big role in the last 3 months of my life. I picked it up a few months ago after not really listening to Fall Out Boy for probably the better part of 5 or 6 years since their last album, Mania, came out. Um, just wasn't exactly my style of music. I understand why there are some people that really enjoy it, and there are some people that are even coming around to it now that didn't enjoy it when it first came out. But for me, I just had to take a break from them, had to stop listening to their music. But when I heard So Much for Stardust in August, it reopened that love for Fall Out Boy for me. So really does hold a lot of weight personally for me. I listen to it almost on a daily basis right now. So yeah, Brian, what did you think of the album? Listening to it for your first time.
Uh, I mean, it's what I expected from Fall Out Boy. It's not bad. It's really good. Um, I don't really dislike any of the songs. Um, I don't know. It's been. I'll be honest with you. It's been a while since I've listened to a full album of a song that isn't in a different language. So it was a nice change of pace for once.
Yeah, and obviously you and I have very different tastes in music, but we're both very open about it, and that's why this podcast is it's a cool idea. We're going to be able to introduce each other to new music for the both of us, and pick up new songs for our playlist along the way. And first things first, I really wanted to go over just a couple songs from So Much for Stardust. I wanted to cover specifically Fake Out, which is, I believe, the fourth song on the
Yeah,
album. And uh, specifically, I wanted to pick apart some of the lyrics because Patrick Stump and Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy both kind of contribute a little bit to the writing, and all members of the band are credited, but a lot of the weight comes from Patrick Stump and Pete Wentz, and they are very open with their past and with their troubles, especially now. That they are getting into their early 40s. They have families. They have lives that aren't necessarily just traveling in music anymore. Um, and Pete Wentz is also very open about his bipolar disorder, which is a very big theme on this album. It's a big theme with the new logo as well. The smiley, or it's the face where half of the face is grinning, half of the face is a sad face. Um, Specifically from verse one, you have remember us like this for or remember us just like this forever, but this can't last, won't last, and that is obviously referencing a time where the narrator um, felt like in their relationship, they are trying to remember everything, trying to remember it forever, but they know deep down that something is wrong and something is not going to work out, and they're trying to protect themselves by finding a way to break out of the window that he keeps referencing in the chorus as well when he says, "Love is in the air, I just gotta figure out a window to break out." Again, it's a means for the narrator to convey that something isn't working in their life with this love interest. They got to figure out a way to get out, and they're doing it as a means to protect themselves. Um, and then in verse 2, they also say, "But I didn't take the love when I had the chance, but I swear I'm not sad anymore." And coming from somebody who has dealt with anxiety and depression for a good portion of my life, and I'm sure in some ways, Brian, you can also understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
It's very easy to say, I'm not sad or I'm not, anything like that. So again, another very relatable line from this song. I love the sound of the guitar. I haven't seen them live for this album. Like I haven't been on the tour. But I have seen some videos of people at the shows, and they play it on acoustic for the show. And after listening to the song, I'm sure you kind of understand, where I'm coming from when I say this song kind of just fits as an acoustic song.
Mhm.
Um, and at the shows, it's a crazy, wonderful performance. Like it's something that you kind of just have to see for yourself. And if you haven't, look up a video from one of the Tour Dust performances of Fake Out. That's when I believe people pull out the pink seashells as well for the concert, and then people shine pink
Also,
lights.
also a song. Pink Seashells
Yes,
song? Hold on.
yes,
Oh yeah, there it is.
yeah.
Or an interlude at least.
Yeah, it's an interlude. It's the interlude with Ethan Hawke talking about life and like. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a character that he plays from a movie. It's not specifically Ethan Hawke. I
Mhm.
don't know what movie though. uh, but the other song that I really wanted to touch on really quick was um, I wanted to touch on So Much for Stardust, which obviously, is the uh, obviously, it's the title track of the album. It's also the closing song of the album, and it provides. There's a line in So Much for Stardust that they use again that was in the opening song, which the opening song of the album is very, it builds up, the music builds up, the guitar builds up to a big climax, and it's a big, enjoyable song talking about, loving from the other side, the world's burning, the apocalypse, this and that. Um, so at the end of the album, you have the same line again where it says, in another life, you were my babe. In another life, you were the sunshine of my lifetime. What would you trade the pain for? I'm not sure. And that line, specifically, that last line, it was in the opening song and spoken very differently by Patrick Stump, sung very differently by Patrick Stump to convey very different emotion. Because at the beginning, it almost felt like there was a hope for this love, but now at the end, with the much slower and much more soul influenced ending track, you have, the line feels, much more sad, much more gloomy. Uh, I mean, specifically, in another life, you were my babe. In another life, you were the sunshine of my lifetime. Like, that hurts. That makes you feel something. Um, and I guess, if it wasn't obvious already, my two favorite songs on the album probably are Fake Out and So Much for Stardust, the two, that I wanted to highlight today. Flu Game, though, very, very close. And it's
Blue
a
Game.
shame. It's a shame that Flu Game kind of gets overlooked because of where it is in the album, like a little bit towards the end. But Flu Game is just Flu Game makes me want to get up and dance. I love it. It's so
Blue
much
Games
fun.
is a good one. Blue Games is a good one. It was close in my actually, if I was doing top three, it would be my top three.
Yeah. So
But
what were your other two favorite songs then? If you have that in three.
uh I have So Good right now.
Okay.
Like the way it starts.
Mhm.
Sounds it's very calming start.
Yeah.
But I don't know the meaning behind it, but sounds like a very upbeat song at least.
It's so good right now. It sounds very upbeat, but when you look at the lyrics,
No, I'm looking at it right now.
yeah, when you look at
Very
the lyrics, it's very it's dark.
yeah.
Like it's it's meant to sound it's meant to sound like everything's okay when in reality everything is not.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to, and not one of my favorite songs on the album, but it's very similar to "What a Time to Be Alive," which is
Oh
the
yeah.
second to last song. Which again, like, and excuse me, I'm sure you noticed. There's a lot of, because this album came out in 2023. There's a lot of COVID influence on this album. Like, feeling so good right now kind of has, mentions. What a Time to Be Alive, I believe, opens with like direct references to the pandemic and everything that we went through the last few years. Um, so there's a lot of influence coming from there.
Mhm.
Um, so then I guess, like, it, what would you, having listened to the album a few times, what would you consider your least favorite songs from the album then?
Um, I don't have one actually. I don't. There's not many songs I dislike, but
Mhm.
there. If I do dislike a song, it'll be very apparent I dislike that song.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, I don't necessarily think there's like I don't necessarily think there's a bad song on the album. I mean, just going from top to bottom, "Love from the Other Side" was the first single dropped. A lot of fun. Like I said, it builds up the music really well. Uh, it feels like a very classic and nostalgic Fall Out Boy song, and the record as a whole, yes. And this is something that, as the series goes on, and you probably end up listening to more Fall Out Boy because of me. Um,
Mhm.
you will understand what I mean when I say this. So much for Stardust feels like it fits in, like the Fall Out Boy discography. It feels like it fits in right after Folie à Deux in 2008, and then that's
Oh.
when Fall Out Boy went on their hiatus. They took some years off
Mm,
because Foley didn't do very well, but this album, sound wise, feels like it falls in right there. Um,
I see.
Heartbreak feels good with another, the other single off of this album. Very good, very enjoyable. Hold Me Like a Grudge. It's a little, it's a little corny, but I still very much enjoy it. It's very, it makes me feel a little groovy on the inside, I would say. Uh,
Mhm.
then you have Fake Out, which probably my favorite song on the record. Heaven, Iowa is an interesting one. It slows things down a lot. It uses a lot of precarious noises at the beginning to like open the song up. Um, Again, talking about the whole motif of love throughout the album, and the heartbreak of love and everything and life. Uh, Heaven, Iowa, obviously brings up the scar-crossed lovers repeatedly throughout the song, um, which to me like conveys a feeling of two people that they've been wounded in the past, and chances are the wounds from their past are coming back up, and that's partially part of why uh, the feeling of insecurity in the relationship is coming up. Then you have the upbeat song "Good So Good Right Now," but really that song is a lot darker than people think. Um, and it feels unfair to say, but I would say like my least favorite song on the album, even though it's not necessarily a song, it's just an interlude, is probably "Pink Seashell" with Ethan Hawke. It's fine. It feels very out of place for the album in a lot of ways. Like, it just, I don't know, the references to a double quarter pounder with cheese, I believe. Like, it just feels very out of place for the album. But if I had to pick an actual song I really did not like, it probably is "I Am My Own Muse." And I know you said you really liked "I Am My Own Muse," which I find very interesting. Because, I don't know, to me, like, it's a fine song. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. It doesn't make me like feel any type of way. It's another song off this album, and to me, back to back with Pink Seashell, I could probably skip over them both and then get through the rest of the album. go to Flu Game, which again very good. Baby Annihilation, the other interlude on this album, where Pete Wentz, gives a monologue to the crowd. Um, very, I didn't like it at first because it was another interlude, but it has come to grow on me a lot. Then you have the Kintsugi Kid 10 Years, which talks about mental health again, talks about past addiction that Pete and Patrick have gone through, talking about the chemical haze. Um, then you have the another false sense of security song, "What a Time to Be Alive," where it sounds very upbeat, very up instrumental, and in reality, it's what a time to be alive. When you say it, you don't really feel all that excited, but and then
I mean,
obviously
yeah.
obviously then you have the closer, So Much for Stardust, which again another one that really grew on me. Didn't like it quite a lot at first, but the more I sat down and listened to it and listened to the instrumental and listened to the vocals and the lyrics and understood more, it really is just a song that feels like a hand comes out of the speaker and grabs your heart and just kind of gives it a squeeze, and
Mhm.
it's good. It genuinely has rose to one of my two favorite songs on the album. But you know general closing thoughts here. Uh, I obviously I've been listening to this album pretty much constantly for the last couple months now. Um, so I obviously very much enjoy the music. I've come back to listening to Fall Out Boy again for the first time in years. This album feels like new life for the band, but a lot of rumors are circulating that this could be the end for Fall Out Boy. They are getting older. They have families. They have lives. So you never know. Um, what were your final thoughts for the album as a first time listener?
Um, I mean, for a first time listener, I liked it a lot. Can't find my words right now. Sorry, but it was I enjoyed it. It was a good album. It was a good listen for what a math class I had in the morning.
Hey,
But
music is perfect for math. Honestly, it'll power you through any lesson.
truly, I mean, when it's you can bleep that, bleep it. Yeah, I'm making you do work. I'm making you do work. Bleep that. Ready for this next one? No, no. But it's I mean, yeah, it's a good listening song. I know you said off camera that you listen to the album while working out. So
Yeah, it's a very fun workout album. I'll throw it on. It's a good 45-minute listen, so it gets a good workout in. Personally, as somebody who really enjoys the album, really likes Fall Out Boy, I'd give it a 8.25 out of 10. What
oh, you're
would
going to hard decimals. What the heck?
I'm gonna go to quarters? Yeah,
All right, all
I won't
right.
ever go like 8.35.
No, but that's funny. Like,
Give
I
super
think the album
specific.
was a solid. I think the album was a solid, 4.364.
Yeah, I just got to give
It's
like
not bad.
to
Not the
the
best, but
hundred
it's not bad.
thousandth place. So what would you give the record?
I think it was a 7 out of 10. Not my mainline music type thing. It's more like a side quest type thing.
Yeah.
But it was very enjoyable. So I rate everything honestly. I mean, if I didn't like it, I would have told you. I'm not gonna
Yes.
lie to you. You would have known day one. I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to this anymore. No, I don't want it.
Yeah, we're not doing this for the podcast anymore. Sorry, buddy. Um, but yeah, would you recommend it to new listeners?
Uh, yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, of course, it depends on your
Absolutely.
what your music taste genuinely is. Like some people, like me, I am very open. I listen to anything. Um, there's no barriers. I listen to anything now. So I mean, I would recommend it if 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 my friend said that they liked they want something new. I recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Solid
I mean,
recommendation.
obviously, I'm gonna recommend it. I recommended it to you for this. So,
Clearly,
um, yeah, I mean, if you guys have listened to So Much for Stardust before, what would you rate it personally? If you haven't listened to it before, maybe give it a shot. Maybe listen to it. I don't know, just a hypothetical. Let us know, maybe what song your favorite is, or maybe what song your least favorite is. Maybe give us, what was your score for the album? What was your ranking? Um, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
see ya.